Hey everybody, it's time for the Madness Hour. Journey with me into the madness machine, where visions and narratives of the strangest sort await us. Don't be afraid, I've been there and back many times before. You have too. In fact, you've never been anywhere else. Don't you remember? It's okay, I'll help you. Just lie back on your comfy couch, listen to the sound of my voice, and forget that you were ever born.
This one, length of moon. Then the golden hour will tick its last, and the flame will go down in the flower. A briefer length of moon will mark the sea line and the yellow dune. Then we may think of this, yet there will be something forgotten and something we should forget. It will be like all things we know. The stone will fail, a rose is sure to go. It will be quiet then, and we may stay as long at the picket gate, but there will be less to say.
Shown this document around, and some of his majors or lieutenant colonels would have shown it to a few members of the SAP, all of whom would have laughed at it, and that would have been reported back to the general.
spotlight off, main go. 7:20, UFO goes through the clouds. Goodbye through. At 8:28, UFO seen by me now overhead. I called the station people a second time that night. Then came the next night. A large UFO first sighted by one of the nurses at the hospital.
We are currently living in a short era of man-made global warming. This might sound like the beginning of the end for Earth's finely balanced climate, but in fact our planet has long been in decline. Earth is old. It has been a living planet for perhaps 4 billion years and it is already past its peak. The decline already underway. A decline that will have far-reaching consequences for humanity. Even our best, or is that worst, efforts at changing the climate can only delay what lies in store for us. For in the long run, it isn't warming that will cause us problems, but cooling. We are still in an ice age, albeit in a brief warm lull that has allowed our civilization to flourish. Man-made global warming might prolong this Indian summer for a few thousand years. But the ice is sure to return soon after, and the end of the artificially warm period will be brutal. The return of the glaciers will not threaten life itself. After all, life has survived many past glaciations. But if civilization still exists, it will face enormous challenges feeding itself, because the world's agricultural productivity will plummet. The population during the last ice age was perhaps 2 or 3 million. By the next one it could be 100 billion. Humanity might well survive the inevitable starvation and warfare, but in vastly reduced numbers. And if we're around for long enough, we'll witness the ice retreat once more, only to come and go another 50 times or so. Between 2 million and 10 million years from now, tectonic motion will free Earth from the grip of the glaciers, and the age of ice will finally give way to a period of regeneration. The continents of the northern hemisphere will drift south, reducing the amount of land available for glaciation, and Antarctica will move north, its melting ice raising sea levels by about 330 feet. The world will warm up, and life will thrive. But only for a while. In time, perhaps a few 100 million years from now, carbon dioxide levels will drop below a critical threshold. And even the sturdy grasses will struggle to survive. Plants will disappear, and Earth will become a desolate wasteland of rock and gravel, with huge, braided rivers. The banks no longer bound by roots, that strip the land of soil and wash it out to sea. Once the land is barren, few nutrients will flow into the oceans and they will starve too. With the loss of marine plankton and land plants, the lungs of the Earth will have withered away, and oxygen levels will nosedive. This is the final tipping point. The moment at which life loses control of Earth's bodily functions, and the planet's life support systems begin to shut down. A few tens of millions of years after the downfall of plants, essential for the production of oxygen, less than 1% of the atmosphere will be oxygen. Any animals still around would suffocate, and the ozone layer would vanish, allowing high-frequency UV rays to sterilize the planet's surface. As an abode for life, Earth is at best in its late middle age and more probably in its old age. Our current age of animals is a last hurrah, the highest point in the trajectory of life's history, and the apogee of our planet's ecological complexity. Its end will mark the beginning of a relentless simplification of life on Earth. As time progresses, complex animal and plant fossils will be overlain by a succession of ever simpler organisms, the history of a world dying, system by system. There will be ecological chaos amid the dizzying evolutionary procession of forms scurrying about the Titanic's deck, all trying to no avail to evolve life jackets. Life will retreat to the deep sea, but even this move will not be enough to save Earth's residents from their inevitable fate. Around 1 billion years from now, with the sun 10% brighter than today, the average global temperature will be near 158 degrees Fahrenheit. The seas will evaporate into the atmosphere, leaving wildly colored pools of putrid brine scattered across vast plains of salt. The only organisms left will be halophiles, microbes that live inside tiny water inclusions in salt. Bacteria will once more have the world to themselves, bringing evolution full circle. The loss of the oceans will be the single most important step in the annihilation of life, causing a runaway greenhouse effect and soaring global temperatures. Extremophile bacteria may be remarkable in their ability to flourish in scalding volcanic springs, but they are not remarkable enough to endure the hellish temperatures that will come. Life's basic chemical processes cannot function above 234 degrees, but after the oceans disappear, Earth will become a clone of Venus, where the surface temperature of 842 degrees is hot enough to melt lead. Without water, Earth's crust will lose its flexibility and tectonic plates will grind to a halt. Like the stopping of a human heart. The failure of plate tectonics will have everlasting effects. Linear mountain chains will stop forming, and the ocean basins will fill with sediment eroded from the continents. The planet will become flatter. The crust will thicken, like that of Venus or Mars, and heat will build up underneath. Then, as on Venus, the whole of the Earth's crust will occasionally melt, turning Earth into a new hell and obliterating every trace of life's existence. Already a roasting desert, Earth will continue to heat up as the aging sun burns ever hotter. Over the past 4 billion years, the sun's output has increased by 30%, and the trend will carry on until Earth is consumed. About 5 billion years from now, as the sun's hydrogen fuel becomes depleted, it will swell into a red giant. To see this from Earth would be to see the sun completely filling the daytime sky. Its radiation will be 2,000 times more powerful than now, causing Earth's surface to heat up beyond 3,630 degrees. Hot enough to melt mountains and smooth over the entire planet. It is truly a cataclysmic end for our planet. As the sun flares out, its atmosphere will produce a drag force on the moon, forcing it to spiral inward and collide with Earth, the planet that gave birth to it so many billion years before. The expanding sun will become as much as 6,000 times brighter than today. Its diameter pulsing out to the size of Earth's orbit. Earth will cease to exist. Haiku. Sadness is funny. It's awkward and familiar. You gotta nurse it. Let me break your leg. All I have is these chopsticks. This is gonna hurt. Little pull on boots. Bedazzle that Bible belt. We're just hot people. We're all gonna die. I have been fucked up for days. Bathing in puddles. She rules the day. A call comes every 6 months. Bare thighs on bare thighs. That sweet, sexy ass. I give it a solid mare. Sometimes it's sticky. A failure of a haiku. About to throw a fish in it. A damn good haiku. Bye bye.